Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives right after they put out important news. And today is a big one. It's out of Loop Insights, trades of the TSX Venture and the stock symbol MTRX. With us is Rob Anson, CEO of the company. For those of you new to the story, and that's going to be a lot of you because of the nature of the press release today and the volume that attracted the markets, Loop essentially is a provider of contactless solutions and artificial intelligence to the brick and mortar world. They help them drive real-time insights, enhanced engagement, and automated contact tracing, and they put all that together. So that's led to two powerful revenue streams. First one's on the contact tracing side. They've already announced deals with the University of Houston, Las Vegas Bubble, big flagship properties in Las Vegas, and more. Then there's also the artificial intelligence marketing side, where they announced a pilot agreement with America's largest CBT retailer for 20 of their 500 stores, a pilot agreement with Telus for 3 of their flagship locations. And then this morning, stock got halted, Telus 2, and I'm going to read the headline for you. Loop Insights accepted into Telus IoT Marketplace for national sales and marketing to Telus business customers across the country. Huge news. Rob, welcome back, man.
Yeah, thanks, George.
Before I dive into any details about this new agreement, this new relationship with Telus, this is major news number 2 between you and Telus. How big is this first for the company in terms of validation and technology validation? And then how big is this for shareholders for the MTRX side of the company?
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same side as we've discussed before, George. Third-party validations, everything. For us as a young company, seeing the penetration that we're getting in the U.S., obviously the positioning with Amazon and the APN network was a big part of these, Fortune 100 and 500 introductions, and they bring the credibility as, we are a young company and people are just learning now who Loop Insights really is. From a Canadian perspective now, having our largest telco with Telus brand associated to the products and marketing and opening the doors is game-changing for Loop and its shareholders, most definitely.
And I want to make sure people understand the magnitude of this. Even though the headline says accepted into Telus's IoT marketplace, this essentially is for the whole basket. Everything that Loop does, Telus is now going to be selling to their customers across the country?
Yeah, as you've seen before, we've got our Phobie device and our data analytics and insights component, our automated marketing in the pilot that's ongoing right now and doing extremely well. As we come to wrap that up here next month, the contact tracing, venue tracing is obviously front and center. I mean, we're a little more fortunate out here in BC, but the East Coast now with everything being shut down again and closing the economy, it's not an option. And, it is going to have to reopen here. And Loop is that transformative gateway. And in our conversations with the government level now, that's exactly what it's about. It's not just a Band-Aid. We've captured huge interest now at the provincial and federal level based upon our ability to apply the data across a multitude of different touch points. And whether it's healthcare, whether it's the contact tracing federal app, or whether it's the motor vehicle branch, our ability to tie it all together is what's putting us in these positions. And very proud and excited to have Telus waving the Loop flag when making key introductions to us.
Yeah, and for everyone at home, what I love so much about what Loop does is it's not just contact tracing. It's not just some marketing enhancement. The contact tracing is almost, the first door in. We all have to have that, but then while it's there, Loop uses that to help enhance retailers, government, any form of business enterprise to then further transact with me, and not just transactional, but hey, George likes this. Our artificial intelligence picking up, this is what George would like. Let's offer him this. So it's all closed in, which means greater safety for everybody and greater revenue for the venues, government, business that need it. Let's talk about Telus now, Rob. why did you choose Telus, or was it that Telus chose you? Why Telus and Loop?
Well, Telus is obviously important to us for many reasons. I have a family history. My godfather was actually former president CEO of BCTel, which was acquired. He was part of the deal with Telus back then. So it's a very interesting tie-in from that aspect. And one of our board members was key in implementing this Telus introduction, Peter Green. Of course, with his history with Telus, is unparalleled. So it was a no-brainer for us on many different levels. And as we talked about the innovation of what Loop brings to the table and transcending the IoT space in itself, offering a new exciting product that's multifaceted and unparalleled in the current IoT space was, as we see now, they've been quite excited about it, and the relationship continues to grow and grow, and is about to get more exciting.
Yeah, look, I've been doing this for 20 years. It's very rare when a small cap company gets one deal of any kind does with a national powerhouse and a monster company like Telus. One, let alone two, and moving the relationship forward. What do you think? And if you had to guess, and maybe from your conversation with Telus, what's driving it from their side to be partnering with Loop so quickly and moving forward? Is that because they're seeing the economy shutting down, business shutting down, everything shutting down, and they know that they need a solution now to get out to their customers? You think that's the big driver here?
Well, part of it, George. I mean, what we do is completely relevant today, right?
Of course.
The other side of it, though, is Telus is always looking and leading when it comes to innovation and providing value to their business customers. So it's a win-win. They're ultimately providing value, solving problems for their customers, and further entrenching, the Telus brand and product offering, and to remain sticky, creating new line revenues for them as well to their shareholders. And more importantly, right now today is we're going to be putting our name and stamp together on some of these huge venue tracing opportunities with some very significant players.
Telus didn't just hand this to you, though. Obviously, in the small cap world, we know the gravity of Loop's technology and solutions, and we've seen the names, University of Houston, all on and on. So we won't go through all those, but I'm sure Loop, we're sold on it, but but Telus had to make it jump through some hoops. So what was that like in order to get, the relationship to this level? Because they've got privacy concerns, they've got all sorts of concerns. How rigorous was it to get to this point?
It is about 7 months of, data, privacy, security, product, all of the audit. It's a big deal, much like we went through with Amazon as well, of course. But, at the end of the day, we've architected our solution in a manner that checks all the boxes. And now from a health standpoint and some of the other projects and events that are about to unfold here, puts us in a tremendous opportunity and puts us into other opportunities that are in verticals that I never even thought of. So it just really speaks to the agility of the solution and providing value and relevancy to the Loop shareholders, of course, and Telus as well.
I commend Telus for kind of being first to the table, because usually one massive hurdle for GeorgeCom software to get on the table is some saying, who else is using you? And I say, well, nobody. You'd be the first, and nobody wants to be the first. So Telus did. Hats off to them. But now, if there's one thing I know about that world, that enterprise world, is they play follow the leader a lot. What kind of exposure do you think this relationship brings to? I mean, you've announced already that you've been talking to two major telecoms in Canada, two major telecoms in the US. What does this do for advancing other relationships that you've been managing for the last few months?
Yeah, you're right. No one wants to be first. That is the biggest challenge by far in the beginning. And I'm extremely appreciative for Telus and what they've done. And Andrew Turner played a big part of it. Their director of strategy and IoT. His foresight to see where we could take and enhance what they had today. Extremely appreciative for that. What it's done is just that. It's brought credibility. There's a lot of eyeballs now waiting to see where we go outside of our pilot, where now this agreement takes it. I've had a couple calls already from some of the others that we've previously spoken with, and it's kind of that FOMO, if you will, right? Everyone, to your point, follow the leader. They are very much like sheep. And that's what was exciting to me, that Telus is so innovative and looking to transcend the IoT space. And Michael Sierra and all of their team there is tremendous leadership, and very, very happy to be part of that.
And I got to read, you brought up Andrew Turner, so I just kind of scrolled down on the press release here, and I've got to read his quote, because it's one thing for Loop and Agoracom to do a partnership together, to announce partnership, and you say great things about me and I say great things about you. We expect that. But these massive companies like Telus, they don't say things lightly, right? They're not in the business of just pumping your tires just because. So I want to read this. This from Andrew Turner, Telus VP of Strategic Operations. All right, doesn't get much better than that. He said, by partnering with innovative and leading IoT development companies such as Loop, we're ensuring that our customers have access to some of the most advanced IoT business solutions in the world. I mean, I know how cool and calm you are and how confident you've been in your technology from day one we met, and well before that, obviously. But does that still give you goosebumps? Does it still make you kind of, pinch yourself when you hear something like that from the likes of Telus?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's nice to hear. And I mean, I don't do this for compliments. This is, exciting, but it is one of many deals that we're working on at this size and magnitude, and larger, quite honestly. So for me, it's all about end game and process, George. It's another piece of the puzzle and roadmap, and patience, which as I'm getting older is something I've learned. And these things take time. And of course, a lot of the investors expect everything overnight. But put us side by side of any small cap stock that's a year, in their trading history, and look at what we brought to the table. Our future is extremely bright.
Well, generally speaking, you're right. Investors from Apple down to the tiniest micro cap want things to happen quickly. I got to tell you, I don't know of anyone that's complaining about Loop, though, because the speed that you guys have been going or in 2020, I don't think there's anybody complaining. In fact, there are probably a lot of people saying, holy smokes, how'd we get here this fast?
Yeah, we're just getting started. I mean, we have an incredibly talented team. I've got some of the greatest tech engineers, in the world.
Clearly.
As part of this here, our front end, our marketing team is brilliant. And our sales, a recent addition of Mike Cannavaro, our SVP now, down in the US, is opening doors like no tomorrow. We all work as one, and it truly is a team and family. So what we've been able to do is, it's pretty exciting to see what we've accomplished in a very short time. But I mean, we're just, we've kind of went from crawl to walk. We're still in crawl mode. We're positioned now with 2021. It's going to be a lot of fun once we get to jogging. So,
well, I'll tell you this much. Out here, it looks like you're full on Usain Bolt sprinting. All right. So for that's our perception out here, because in the small cap world, we don't see many companies move this fast on the business side. But it's interesting to hear you say you're still a crawl, essentially saying we're still in the first inning. We're just warming up.
Well, it is, because, I mean, when you do partnerships like with NCAA and ESPN and MGM and these groups, I mean, it's just starting to evolve. I mean, the pandemic, there's no playbook here, George, right? This is all ad hoc and on the fly. And it speaks volumes to what we were able to put together with, Amazon Web Services and our tech team here to create something literally overnight that now is having such an impact, not just here in Canada, but in the US. As I mentioned before, it's very difficult to, play across border. And, this little company in Vancouver, Canada is now transcending and providing these solutions to some of the largest players in the game. That's what excites me.
So here we are. We've just started Q4, essentially, right? We've just started Q4, and you've announced, the kind of news that most companies would be envious of if they had announced it 12 months from now. So you're moving fast. What's the future roadmap with Telus? Because this is this is announcement number 2, and then maybe what's the roadmap look at? I'm not even going to ask for the next 12 months. That's just too far. But what does the next 3 to 6 months look like in terms of what you're going after?
Yeah, healthcare is a huge part of it, and it's something that I haven't spoke about before, but it is something we've been working on. There's some very exciting opportunities that we've been presented with here in Canada and the US that we're looking to complete, and that's going to be game changing. Those sales cycles are extremely long. Like I said, with COVID and the pandemic, the sense of urgency has been tremendously the wind in our sails. It's things that typically we're seeing 3 to 5 year sales cycles, just like with NCAA. These things here we've been able to close in 30 days, 60 days in some cases. So healthcare will be one very interesting. Our vend partnership, if you will, reseller, some very exciting things that'll be transpiring there as well, and many different verticals and size and scale. Where I'm very, very excited about, though, George, is with our new deal that we signed for the UK and Europe with Steve Gray. We've got tremendous opportunity over there from a telco perspective as well, much like Telus. But from a retail perspective, our products are absolutely perfect for that marketplace. And
SG Retail's customer base, for everyone who saw that press release, but some of the biggest of the biggest names, right?
Oh, Steve
British
is
Air.
Steve is truly a legend. He's probably one of the most well-respected guys in the CPG retail space. So for him to actually approach us, I didn't go courting Steve. He knocked on our door.
Wow.
So I mean, that got my juices flowing and excited because, with his background with Tesco and Aldi, I mean, we're talking huge chains with thousands and thousands of locations. These are the quality of the leads that Steve puts us in front of right out of the gate. So it's very exciting. We'll see some continued expansion in Indonesia. That's going extremely well. We haven't got a chance to talk about that a lot yet, but Australia and New Zealand are another interesting opportunities that are ticking along nicely. But
yeah, Loop's technology is borderless, right? There are no borders.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And when we'll see, as you said, the next 12 months will now be leveraging these intros and opportunities to take to the next level. As you said, no one likes to be first. We've had some interesting groups in NCAA and with Telus, and it's been very fortunate for these kind of groups to step up and say, yeah, I'm in, let's go. Very exciting. So we will see some huge rapid growth and some very big opportunities here. We're not done yet. This is just the beginning.
No, and I didn't think you were.
No. So like I said, I don't hang my hat on what we've done here because we've done literally nothing to date other than get going. So the fun now comes from my team building that commercialized product, which they did, and now leveraging each of these opportunities. And, as they always say, you're only successful as the 5 people you surround yourself with. You're kind of average. For us, I've always positioned these channel reseller partners and best of breed partners in a multitude of different industries because it's the trusted source, it's the credibility, and it's the power and strength of what we bring to that partnership from an execution standpoint now that transcends new line revenues for them and further enhances their existing relationships. So we'll be extremely active here in the last quarter and down the stretch, as they say, they come.
And for those of you who are new to the story, again, because because the headline today and the trading activity, so no doubt there are new people watching. One thing about Loop's partners, we see small cap companies announce partnerships all the time. George Co and Rob Co are partnering, and then you don't hear anything about it. In Loop's case, they signed with Vend, one of the largest point of sale software companies in the world, and within a month, Rob, within 30 days. Two of their customers are already Loop customers. So that paid off immediately. Then BDG Sports, you sign a partnership with, a reseller partnership with, and bam, Las Vegas bubble, NCAA, MGM. So not only are you doing great things on the direct side, but what I really like is you're not just signing partnerships for the sake of partnerships. You're signing partnerships with people who are going to deliver. So I can't wait to see what SG Retail does.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't do deals for the sake of doing deals. I mean, I do deals to, make money and gain position and strength. And, for us, it's all about execution. And, the one thing that I can say is that, we've walked the walk and talked the talk, as they say, right? So, extremely confident in what we're doing, fully understand the opportunity and where we're headed, and we'll continue to execute. And our senior leadership team, as I said, is doing a fantastic job. And we're very excited for the last quarter.
Well, Rob, we're going to end it there. And I'm going to tell you the one thing I love about these videos is what comes through that you can't see on a press release. And that is the fact that despite signing this agreement, announcing this news with one of the biggest enterprises in the country, you look like we're talking about you just went for a walk in the park. And that kind of calm, leadership is powerful to see. And I love that came through here for everyone to see.
Oh, there you go.
For everyone at home, you've been watching or you've been listening in by podcast, Rob Anson. He's CEO of Loop Insights. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol MTRX Matrix. Now, we know that there's a lot to swallow here because Loop is a leading technology company. Truly, they are. And you may not understand or grasp all of it. So to do your due diligence, get to Agoracom, get to the Loop Hub, go into the profile section, and we've really nicely kind of laid this out for you in layman's terms to really get a better understanding of what Loop does. Then make sure you get over to the website, do some more due diligence, because I've got a feeling if you do that, you've probably discovered your next great small cap company. We love Loop. Hope you feel the same. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.